Hidden from the world for centuries, buried beneath layers of history and controversy, lies a manuscript that challenges everything we thought we knew about early Christianity. What forbidden secrets are contained within this lost epistle, and why was it hidden from the world? Today, we embark on a journey back in time to uncover the mysteries of a document as contentious as it is enlightening, the so-called Third Epistle of John. Join us as we delve into the depths of history to reveal its secrets. In the annals of Christian texts, the Apostle John is traditionally known to have penned 3 letters, but today we explore the existence of a speculative third epistle, not the well-known third part of the first epistle of John, but a separate standalone document that has stirred much debate among scholars and theologians. Imagine a text penned in the 1st century, around the same time as the other Johannine epistles, intended for a similar audience but lost to history due to its controversial teachings. Unlike the other epistles, which focus on love, community, and the Antichrist, this lost text is said to dive deeper into the mystical and potentially heretical. The Johannine letters are pivotal in understanding early Christian communities' struggles and theological debates. A third epistle, if it existed, could drastically change our perception of these communities and the issues they faced. Attributed to John the Apostle, this text purportedly surfaced briefly in the early 4th century, but was quickly deemed too controversial for inclusion in the canonical Bible. It disappeared from public view, rumored to have been suppressed or destroyed by church leaders. As we explore the world of the early Christians, it's crucial to understand the environment in which they lived and the forces at play that shaped their spiritual and communal life. The early Christian era was a time of profound transformation and often turbulent debates. The Apostle John, traditionally linked to the community in Ephesus, wrote during a period marked by both persecution from outside and intense theological debates within. It was a time when the foundational doctrines of what would become mainstream Christianity were still being hammered out. John's writings, especially his epistles, are often seen as responses to specific challenges facing the Christian communities. Issues like Gnostic beliefs, disputes over the nature of Christ, and the role of the church were hot topics. Any additional writings attributed to him, like a so-called third epistle, would have been deeply influenced by these controversies. Imagine a document written in this combustible atmosphere that perhaps offered radical new interpretations or pushed the boundaries of accepted beliefs. Such a text could easily become a point of contention, seen as either a profound teaching or a dangerous heresy. The third epistle of John, according to legend, addressed themes or offered guidance that diverged significantly from the other epistles. Its content, rumored to delve into mystical experiences and esoteric knowledge, might have been perceived as threatening to the unity and orthodoxy of the early church. Texts that challenged the emerging orthodoxy could be suppressed, not necessarily because they were false, but because they presented interpretations that could divide the fledgling communities. The third epistle of John, with its lost teachings, might have been one such text. As we piece together the scant clues left behind, the story of this lost epistle unfolds not just as a tale of forbidden knowledge, but as a window into the struggles and aspirations of those early believers, striving to define their faith in a rapidly changing world. The discovery of the so-called Third Epistle of John reads like a chapter from a historical mystery novel. It's a tale of hidden archives, forgotten relics, and a document that could rewrite aspects of Christian history. Our story begins in the early 20th century, in a secluded monastery in the Middle East. Here, a young monk, drawn by tales of hidden wisdom passed down through generations, stumbles upon a secret chamber long sealed by his predecessors. Among the relics and parchments, a particular scroll catches his eye. It is unremarkably plain, yet the writing within it glows with a fervor and depth that immediately suggests its significance. The text is penned in a script that echoes the hand of the early church fathers, and the content, profound, mystical, and controversial, hints at its authorship by John the Apostle himself. The scroll references debates and divine mysteries never mentioned in the canonical texts. This discovery was not just about finding another ancient manuscript. It was about uncovering a voice from the past that had been deliberately silenced. The teachings within this text challenge the very foundations of established Christian doctrines. The monk, aware of the potential turmoil the epistle could cause, chooses to share his find with only a select few. Word of the manuscript spreads slowly, initially only among scholars and theologians who could grasp its implications. As scholars began to debate the authenticity and meanings of the teachings, the epistle sparked new discussions on divine knowledge, the nature of apostolic authority, and the mystical experiences of early Christians. The epistle begins with a greeting not unlike those found in the canonical texts, but it quickly diverges into discussions of topics barely touched upon by the other apostles. It speaks of secrets known only to a select few, a hidden manna for those initiated into deeper mysteries of the faith. Among its more startling teachings, the epistle elaborates on the nature of the divine realm, suggesting a more direct path to divine knowledge that bypasses traditional church structures. This idea, radical for its time, proposed that the divine could be experienced directly through personal revelation and mystical practice. The text also delves into the contentious issue of the interplay between good and evil, suggesting a dualistic approach that was likely too reminiscent of Gnostic beliefs for the comfort of Orthodox Christian leaders. This epistle's flirtation with dualistic concepts and its emphasis on personal spiritual enlightenment could easily have been seen as a threat to the emerging orthodoxy, which stressed the centrality of the Church in spiritual matters. Furthermore, the epistle addresses ethical and moral issues from a perspective that prioritizes inner purity and divine inspiration over strict adherence to external laws, a viewpoint that could undermine the Church's authority on moral directives. As we peel back the layers of this text, what emerges is a portrait of a Christianity at a crossroads, with the third epistle of John advocating for a path less traveled, one that embraced the mysteries of faith with a boldness that perhaps was not yet ready to be understood or accepted. With the secretive circulation of the third epistle of John, the initial reactions among those privy to its contents were mixed, ranging from awe and acceptance to shock and skepticism. The epistle's provocative teachings quickly ignited a firestorm of theological debate. As word of the epistle's teaching spread, it reached the ears of church authorities, who were deeply concerned by its implications. The text's emphasis on mystical experiences and personal revelation challenged the hierarchical structure that the Church was striving to solidify. The Church was in a formative stage, seeking to establish a unified doctrine. Teachings that emphasized individual spiritual authority could undermine the collective unity and doctrinal consistency the Church leaders were desperately trying to achieve. The immediate reaction from church leadership was to convene councils to discuss the epistle. These gatherings were tense, with lines drawn between those who saw the epistle as a continuation of John's mystical theology and those who viewed it as a dangerous departure from apostolic teaching. Physically, the epistle was met with attempts to suppress it. Copies were confiscated, and those found in possession of it faced censure or excommunication. Emotionally, the community was divided, with some feeling betrayed by the Church's rejection of what they believed to be true apostolic wisdom. The epistle's call for a more personal connection to the divine resonated deeply with some, creating a clandestine following that persisted despite the Church's efforts to stamp it out. This underground movement began to interpret and live out the teachings in their daily lives, often in hidden ways. After the initial shockwaves caused by the third epistle of John, its influence began to seep more subtly into various facets of Christian thought and practice. Despite official suppression, the epistle's teachings resonated, leaving an indelible mark on the fabric of early Christian spirituality. The underground followers of the epistle, those who embraced its mystical and personal approach to divinity, began to influence theological debates and spiritual practices more profoundly than the church authorities had anticipated. While the mainstream church continued to consolidate around a unified doctrine, the undercurrents created by the third epistle of John helped foster a diversity of thought that was crucial to the development of various Christian mysticisms and reformative movements. Over the centuries, as the church faced various reformations and schisms, the themes of personal revelation and direct divine interaction, much like those found in the epistle, re-emerged. These ideas challenged the status quo, pushing the boundaries of accepted doctrine and inspiring new interpretations of Christian faith. Furthermore, the suppressed epistle indirectly contributed to the broader discourse on religious authority and personal spirituality. Its legacy can be seen in the movements that advocate for a more personal, less institutionalized approach to spirituality. In today's context, the call for direct spiritual experience and individual discernment, reminiscent of the third epistle's ethos, resonates with many seeking a more intimate and personal relationship with the divine, beyond the confines of organized religion. As debates continue on the roles of scripture, tradition, and personal experience in spiritual life, the teachings purportedly from John's lost epistle invite believers and scholars alike to reflect on the nature of divine knowledge and the pathways to understanding it. As we draw our exploration of the third epistle of John to a close, it's time to reflect on the enigmatic presence and influence of this text. How has our understanding of early Christian dynamics and modern spiritual discourse been shaped by these forbidden teachings? Though the authenticity and existence of this epistle remain speculative, the discussions it has provoked reveal much about our own desires and struggles with faith, authority, and the divine mystery. The epistle serves as a mirror, reflecting our ongoing quest for deeper truths and more intimate spiritual experiences. The idea of a lost epistle, filled with controversial teachings, taps into our fascination with what might have been suppressed in the past. It challenges us to think critically about the formation of religious canons and the power structures that shape them. For theologians and lay believers alike, the third epistle of John symbolizes the perpetual tension between established doctrine and personal revelation. It invites us to question and perhaps to rediscover the mystical and direct aspects of faith that can sometimes be overshadowed by institutional religious practices. From a psychological perspective, the allure of forbidden knowledge is significant. It not only engages our curiosity, but also satisfies a deeper psychological need to uncover what has been hidden and to integrate these insights into our worldview. As we contemplate the potential impact of such a text, whether historical or hypothetical, we are reminded of the dynamic and evolving nature of religious thought and the human spirit's unending search for meaning and connection.